Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Module 4.3 as part of my presentation on the development of resilient transport infrastructure in Africa. Module 4.3 is all about allocation and management principles and also risk of PPP projects. The summary of this presentation is of finishes. Then we have risk response to tools and techniques, main risk of a PPP project. Definition: a risk, one or more causes, a probability of occurrence, one or more impacts. Two, the risk of a project corresponds to an event or a situation whose realization uncertain will have a positive impact, opportunity, or a negative threat on at least one objective of the project, such as the deadlines, the cost, the content, or the quality. The objective of a project deadline being to deliver according to the agreed schedule, the cost objective of the project being to deliver within the agreed cost limit, etc. A risk can have one or more causes, and if it occurs, one or more impacts. Known risks are those that have been identified and analyzed, and it may be possible to plan responses to this risk. As the management of unknown risks cannot be done proactively, it is possible as a precaution to allocate a general provision to cover such risks as well as known risks for which it will not be profitable or even impossible to develop a proactive response. Tools and techniques of responses to risks. We have strategy for negative risk or threats. Here, avoidance eliminates the threat or put the objectives at risk. To transfer the risk to a third party who will have to manage it, example of insurance, but also a fixed price contract which transfers the risk to the supplier. Mitigation. Choose a more stable supplier, a more proven technical solution, etc. Acceptance, which is passive or active provision for contingencies in terms of time or cost. Tools and techniques of responses to risk. Strategy for positive risk or opportunities. Exploit. Example, reduce time, cost, increase quality. Share with the third party who will know how to better exploit it. Improve, increase parameterization. Conditional response. The response will only be implemented if a condition is met. Conditional response plan. Fallback plan if the conditional response failed. Risk, generating facts, allocation, mitigation. This is all what we will use in technical risk to conception through construction period. What is conception risk? In the generating facts, error in tender documents and technical specification, underestimation of the cost of equipment or work by the builder. In allocation, this is also considered a public authority builder. While the mitigation and hedges, here is the definition of missions to be carried out by an independent engineer, contractual liability of the public authority on compensation, turnkey contracts, turnkey contracts, fixed rate contracts with a certain date, engineering, procurement, and construction, contractual commitments, advances, deposits, and holdbacks, while ensuring their legal applicability. Technological risk. Generating facts, lack of control of the technology or the processes by the manufacturer, unproven technology. In the allocation column, we have builder, while in mitigation, we have technological and environmental watch, supplier, quality assurance, site risk insurance, machine breakdown, etc. The geological risk stroke, archaeological stroke, ecological. The generating fact here is that work on a difficult geological area or an archaeological site, negative impact of the work. Who is the allocation? Is the builder. While at the mitigation level, we have all site risk insurance, compliance with the environmental impact study. Management risk, planning error for carrying out the work, coordination problem within the consortium, project manager and or builder, insurance delays and start, installation, late payment penalties, and performance bond, bonus to malus according to the performance of the constructor group, paid to the SPC and capped by a percentage of the amount of work fixed in the contract, sufficient to cover the interest due to lenders and other fixed costs. Non-technical performance. On the generating file, we have performance ratios below the level set contractually. This is due to a poor assessment by the public authority of the assets made available to the SPC or the inexperience of the operator. On the allocation column, we have the public authority and the operator. While for the mitigation, we have compensation, audits on the asset made available to the company, and implementation of industrial and operator management reports to all the partners consisting the SPC. Physical completion of the project. Ability of the project to sustain a level of production for a certain period, 1 to 3 months, while respecting all the technical specifications of the construction contract. Income risk. We have level of traffic lower than those estimated ex ante and non-recovery linked to the client's solvency, bad debts. SPC or public partner according to the adjustment rules and the existence of traffic guarantees. This is under the allocation. While tariff equalization, public subsidy, public authority commitments, guarantees of income or traffic and access to the blocked accounts, coverage against solvency risk, sensitivity study, the population's ability to pay and volume sensitivity analysis. These are all the mitigation aspects. Tariff risk, contractual tariff, indexation or tariff, structure leading to a decrease in income and or consumption, SPC. Contractual framework and indexation clauses, demand forecasting studies, revision and renegotiation clauses, flexibility, etc. Risk of variation in macroeconomics parameters. Variation, price revision indices, general price index inflation, construction index interest rate. SPC or shared with the public authority through tariff adjustment clauses. SPC or shared with the public authority through tariff adjustment clauses. Analysis of expected inflation, variations, coverage by indexation of tariffs, cost and local risk-free rates, if debt in local currency, statistic forecast of the variations in the profitability of a local treasury bill for the local interest rate, and a strong currency treasury bill for the hard currency interest rate, and separate the developments relating to the real rate and inflation, use of interest rate caps or swaps. The risk of variation in macroeconomic parameter. This explains the exchange rate, SPC or share with public authority through tariff adjustment clauses, forecast of the variation of the dollar/euro against the local currency, and sensitivity study, use of exchange rate, caps or swaps if available, funding mix by favoring the use of local funding if the local currency is weak, and unstable risk transfer to local authorities through an exchange rate guarantee by the central bank of the host country, if the project appears to be a priority in the eyes of the public authorities, exchange risks transform into political risk. Risk of indexation. This is the legal aspect of the risk as we present. Here we have evolution of revenues different from those of supply costs due to indexation formulas leading to greater growth in costs than in revenues. Co-contractors impose the same indexing formula, economic and static analysis. These are all the mitigation for risks of indexation. Force majeure risk. This is war, strike, natural disaster, Insurance or sharing between all SPC partners and public authorities must share all of this risk. Then the mitigation will be that insurance renegotiation clauses, earlier termination clauses. Legal and regulatory risk. In matters of company law and banking, tax and environmental legislations and laws and rules specific to the project sector of activity will also be that directly affecting the project. Shareholder, lenders, public partners will all take part on this risk. The mitigation will be the renegotiation clauses with local authorities, insurance policies, government guarantee against the risk of tax changes. The political risk, sovereign and sub-sovereign risk, non-respect of public commitment and facts of the prince. Here, authoritarian reduction of tariffs by the public authority, expropriation. The risk is allocated to public authority, and the mitigation will be insurance policies covering political risk such as COFES or MIGA, which offers policies covering sovereign risk, and in certain cases, risk of a sovereign nature that is involving region, local authorities, insurance breach of contract, expropriation, establishment of standby financing to cover the residual risk beyond the coverage offered by the insurance policies, risk of non-transfer. The generating facts will be that non-transfer of income or non-convertibility, financial flows of a project. It will be allocated to the public authority, and the mitigation will be collection of historical data on global market risk and country risk. Guarantees from the local government in relation to the problems of convertibility and transfer of funds. Insurance against the risk of non-transfer, COFES, MIGA. Thank you for good listening. And this goes to explain all the aspects that concerns risk in PPP projects, allocation and principles of risk in a PPP project. This, in summary, will say that this is how risks are shared among all the actors in public-private partnership. Once again, I want to thank you for giving me your time and paying attention to my presentation. And like I always end in summary or in conclusion of my presentation by telling participants to feel free and look at gray areas where they found in doubt and will need more clarification so that we'll all be on one page at the end of this course by giving a very sound lecture and understanding in reciprocation so that the benefit of the training by the clients will be achieved at the end of the day. Thank you and God bless.